Hi everyone, welcome back to my craft room. If you're new to my craft room, then welcome. Today I'm going to do some decoupage on this big beautiful vase that I found at the thrift store. I got that for $2.99. You can actually still find a lot of good vase and things at Dollar Tree for like $2-3. They have some really big ones too now. But we were there. I love going there because, you know, thrift stores always have a ton of glassware. So I'm trying to open up this mint here. My mouth isn't dry. So what I'm gonna do with this, I'm gonna use this napkin here. I'm pretty sure I got these from Temu a while ago. I'm pretty sure. I order napkins from wherever I see them. Sometimes I find them in the grocery stores. You get them on Amazon, decoupagenapkins.com. You can order, you know, like just a couple that you want. So there's all kinds of places you can find really pretty napkins, but I thought this one is perfect because it has a whole bunch of little different flowers that I can cut out of there, and I'll show you guys how I do that for anybody who hasn't seen me do that after I get this big guy painted here. So I'm going to take some of the Waverly chalk paint in the Snow White. Chalk paint just adheres to glass better. You can try acrylic, but it does scrape off very easily if you use acrylic. And you just want to make sure this is nice and clean. I actually cleaned this all off with some Windex and stuff, so to get anything off of there. And it had a sticker on there that was a bugger, but we got it off. So I'm just going to start down here on the bottom of this thing with a sponge brush. I usually just start out smearing it on, and then after I get quite a bit of it on there, then I just kind of go back and just tap it to give it that little bit of a textured look. And it covers really well this way too. So I know I'm gonna have to do 2 coats of this on here. I just know I'm gonna. But that's it. It's just that simple. It's so easy to paint these up nice. But yeah, definitely gonna need 2 coats. So I'm not going to paint this whole thing on camera because it's going to take me a little bit, and it is so hot and humid today that I'm probably going to have to get out my heat gun here and dry this because the humidity is ridiculous, and I think it will just take forever without it. So luckily I have that, my little handy dandy heat tool thing. This is great. I got this on Amazon too. You can use a hair dryer too or whatever. But sometimes I just take them outside and let them dry quick, but not today. It is just so miserable outside with the humidity that, I don't know, I don't think it will dry well. But that's it. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to go around this whole thing, just patting and painting here. And then when I get that all done and I get the second coat on there, I'm going to come back here and show you guys how I cut out the napkins, and we'll start decorating this big boy. Okay, vase is nice and dry now. Took a while, took a few hours. Like I said, the humidity's crazy today. But I'm just going to show you guys real quick, for anybody who hasn't seen me cut out these images with my water pen. So you're going to take your napkin apart, get down to the 1 ply, come back here. I got my fan on. I'm going to have to shut that off because it's driving me crazy. I usually keep that piece to the side, you know, just to wipe my hands or whatever. Then you're going to take your water pen or just a regular paintbrush, dip it in some water. You can do the same thing. And then let's see, let me find a small one here just to show you really quick. I'll do one of these that I'm going to do on the edge. And I just go around the outline of whatever you want to cut out with the water pen. And then you can take like a plastic knife. This came in with some paintbrushes that I got. And then you're just going to want to put your finger over the image and pull the napkin away. And the reason I do it this way instead of cutting it is because when you Mod Podge it onto whatever you're using, it blends in so much better than having like a straight cut edge, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's it. Just whoops, way too much water that time. You can get these at Dollar Tree, these pens, water pens. You just fill them up with a little bit of water and off you go. They're for, you know, to do watercolors with and things. But this is what I use them for. But just make sure you can't see any of that image, like this leaf here. Make sure when you put your finger on it, you're just covering that whole thing up before you pull your napkin away, because otherwise you may just rip off something you don't want to rip off. But that is it. That's all you do. Just keep going around and around here. I'm just going to do this one I already have a bunch cut out that I did. I'm sure I'm going to need a few more, but this will be good enough now to get started here, because I'm only going to show half of the, decoupage half of this vase on camera, and then I'll do the rest off, because, again, it's just going to be same over and over and over again. So now this one had the square, bottom or the end of the napkin, so I just pull a little bit away so it's not so, straight cut. So we're going to set that over there so it can dry, which only takes like a minute. Oh, here's my cap. Put this aside here. So now we're going to pull our vase over here. Actually, well, I got to shut this fan off. Hang on one second. Okay, there we go. These things are just lifting up my little things I cut out here and just blowing them all over the place. All right, so I cut out, I think I have 4 of these I cut out, the big main picture that was on the napkins. And all this I have cut out here is just from one napkin. So you can do a lot with just a napkin. So I want these to be like on the front here. I think that looks good like that. I'm just going to put a little bit behind this one just to hold it down for me, because this is quite a large piece. All right, so we have that there in place. And then I just go over top of it with the Mod Podge, because you're just down to the 1 ply of the napkin and it will go right through. So you really don't need to, unless you prefer to, put Mod Podge underneath. But I just did it to hold the center, keep it where I want it to be. So we're going to go over this real quick like this. Just make sure you use plenty of Mod Podge. Try to smooth these out best you can. And see how the edges, they just kind of blend right in with the white paint. So, and that's what I always do. Whatever napkin you're using, just go by whatever the background color, is on your paint or on your napkin. And the white, if, you could put it just directly on glass, but the image isn't going to show up as nice as if you put a nice white background on there. So that's why I do that. But it's very simple. You just got to have patience, and sometimes you got to go over it a few times to get some of these wrinkles out. But like I said, I use lots and lots of Mod Podge on here. And this dries nice and clear, so let's make sure I have all these edges down good. And I think that looks good right there. Easy peasy. It's gonna be so pretty. And that'll show up nice and bright once that Mod Podge dries. All right, so then up here, I'm gonna take another piece. I think it was this one I wanted to use. Was it? I don't know. And let's see, which way do I want this to go? Maybe up like this. Kind of want it to go up on that piece, if it will. I don't know, that might be a stretch. Well, let's give it a shot. What do you say? Well, let's see what happens. Sometimes they'll bend nice into a little curve here. Sometimes, I should have started at the top. Sometimes it wants to give me a hard time. So we're going to see how this is going to play out. And you know what? If it doesn't go in here nice, I just pull it off and use a different piece. But I think we're going to be good. Yep, we're going to be just fine. Just going to tap that in there a little bit. You guys can see. Make sure that's pushed down real good. All right, so there's that one there. And then I'm going to take some of these half pieces that I cut there. We're kind of on the edge of the napkin, so it was Wasn't the entire image, but I figured these will work perfectly for like up here because we're going to go around this rim and paint it. So I think that will look really nice right there. This piece of the napkin. And the smaller pieces are so much easier to work with. They really and truly are. So pretty. All right, let's see. What do I want over here? Maybe we'll take this big one here. Just it's a little bit different. Put that right about there. Hopefully this is going to space out nicely when I get onto the other side. Because, you know, I have in my head how I want this, but that doesn't always work out, but hopefully it will. So we're going to find out. I kind of like to get the lines here going the same direction so it doesn't look real, you know, squiggly. Oh, I think that's going to be so pretty. They dropped a bunch on there, I guess. All right, so that's going to be the front or the side. I mean, one side of it, I should say. It's not even the front. But I don't know. I really don't think, whoops, I don't think I'm going to be able to get 4 of these around here evenly. So I'm actually going to flip this around and put one on the other side here in a second. But let's see, where else? I don't know. You know what? We're going to flip this around so I can get to the back of this, which should be right about here. So right about here this is going to go. Make sure I got it just about in the same spot. I think that'll be good right there. Again, I'm going to put just a little bit here to tack this down so it's not blowing all over on me. I much prefer doing the little pieces. It's just so much easier. All right. But anyway, let's get this one down. And then some of this I'm just going to do off camera because I'm just going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. And then when I get this done, I am going to put a clear coat on top of this whole thing too. But we got more to do with this baby first. But you could use any napkin you want. There's so many pretty napkins. I love, like, on decoupagenapkin.com. Sometimes on Etsy, too, you can find, you know, sellers that just sell, like, 2 or 3 napkins. Because sometimes you don't want to buy, you know, a pack of 20 or whatever napkins. And you just only want a couple to decoupage with. Well, that's your best bet there, is those kind of sellers. All right, so there we go. We got this one on here. Make sure all my edges are down good. A little bit of wrinkle there. We're going to tap you out gently. There we go. Here too. You just got to be very gentle so you don't rip your napkin. All right, so there we have that one on that side. And it looks pretty darn even there. All right, so now we're just going to fill in the rest of this. But I really don't think it would fit, but I think it's going to be just, it might be too much. Or maybe I could even actually, what if I take some of this off here so it's not sticking up quite so far. I mean, you can rip these apart, whatever, and then I could just kind of flip these a little bit. I still think it's going to be too much of the same thing. All right, so we're going to let that go. And I'm going to cut out some more small pieces to put down in between all of this because I think that's going to look much prettier. All right, so let's just go do this side over here. What do we got left that I've cut out? And then I'll just keep filling this in off camera, but just to get the main design here done. So let's see, this is different. So we're gonna put one of these here. That'll look nice up in there. Nope, that's too close. Yeah, so is that. Maybe that's not a good piece for here, because I don't want to flip it upside down. That would look silly. I have this small one here that I could maybe put here. That would look pretty. And then we can fill down lower with that other one. This will be good right here. So let's take this little guy. Like I said, love these little pieces. So easy. All right, that looks good there. And then we're gonna need some more up top here. Let's see, what did we leave off with that one? So, I don't want that one there. Oh, here's a pretty purple one too that I cut out. That can go up, come down from the top. I'm trying to make up my mind, guys, sorry. Maybe this will go better over there. All right, oh no, I got you stuck to my table. Nope, let's put this pretty pink one right here. Oh, that looks so pretty already. I love roses. I could decorate everything with roses if I could. All right, let me finish going around the top here, because here's a nice long one. That could probably go over here, where these vines can hang down a little more. I'm gonna need more Mod Podge already. All right, but that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna keep repeating this over and over, just adding more and more little flowers. I need another one up here. I may have to cut out a few more. This might work. I think that'll fit in there perfectly, actually. So we're gonna put that right there. Mom got it in my head, and then I will, I promise not make you watch me do all of this thing. I'm definitely gonna have to cut out a few more flowers to fill in here, but like down in these big spaces down here is where I'll use like these bigger, not big ones, but bigger prints, just to fill in here a little bit. Like I said, I don't want the whole thing covered in roses, but yeah, I think that'll look good right there. And that's pretty much how I'm going to do the other side too. So I'm just going to have to cut out a couple more of those. I have to break into another napkin. But I'll tell you, I got a lot done with just one napkin because this is a really big vase. All right, well, I'm going to stop here and I will fill the rest of these in here with my little flowers, and then we're going to come back because there's a lot more little detail I want to add to this. All right, I got everything on here. It's still drying. It's not quite dry yet, but I just wanted to show you all the different, I just put some little ones in between here all over, and I think it's so pretty. So we're going to make this real fancy. We're going to add a little gold. I have some of this, what is it called? Splendid Gold Deco Art Dazzling Metallics are. I believe I got this at Walmart. Or Michael's. I don't know. But you could find something similar, either one, I'm sure. Just a metallic paint. So I'm going to use some gold just on the rim here. I'm going to put a little bit, over here, just a hair, in one of these little trays here. And I'm going to use, oh, it's way too much. I'm going to have to scoop that back. One of these little bitty sponge brushes. Sometimes Dollar Tree has the 3 set, and they have smaller ones, bigger ones, you know, small, medium, and large ones in there. But, yeah, because I don't want too much paint on here, but I just want to get this soaked up a little bit. So the sponge is pretty wet with paint. And I don't know if I'm going to have to go around here once or twice. But we're just going to go straight down on top of the rim here, just to give that a pretty gold trim all the way around. And I may have to do 2 coats because it seems a little thin. But look how fancy this is going to be. Fancy schmancy. Yeah, because I want this to show up really nice and bright gold. So I am definitely going to do a second coat on here. Same way. Come back here, paint. Just makes it nice and even if you use these little bitty brushes, and then just like I said, just go straight down from the top. But I'm going to grab my heat gun here in a second, and I will dry that up quick so I can put on a second coat here. And then once this is all nice and dry, look how pretty. The gold. Love it. Makes it look expensive. Alright, so I'm going to let that dry so I can put another coat on. And then once that is dry and all of my Mod Podge is dry here, I'm going to take this outside and I'm going to add just a coat of this acrylic enamel to it. It's called, it's like, what is it, Dupli color. I believe I got this on Amazon. Because a lot of times I'll just order from there because it's easier. You know what? Maybe I'm not using this one. I didn't realize this one's a custom matte finish. I really didn't want a matte finish on this. I want it to be shiny. So let me see what other paint I have. But I'm just going to use a clear coat on here. Whatever other spray paint I find back there. Hopefully I have another clear one. Because I don't want it to be matte. I want this one to be shiny. That makes me sad. I did not realize that was a matte finish. Anyway, as soon as this all dries up, I'm going to spray it. I'll get the second coat on here, and then I'll come back and show you guys the finished vase. Alright everybody, she's all done. I did end up using this because I don't have any other clear spray paint. And I'm not going anywhere anytime soon to pick up any, so I wanted to get her done. But I think it looks fine. But it would look really nice, I think, with a glossy spray. I may spray over top it. I don't know. But yeah, really easy, simple project. You know, it takes a little time. Just drying time is the main thing with these things. But I need to get myself some pretty flowers for this thing too. I don't have any right now. But anyway, I'm going to put this up, you know, where there's not all this mess. I'll take a pretty picture to put at the end. But thanks so much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this project. And I'll see you guys all next time. Have a great day, everyone.